everybody, it's me Hatsy, and today I am back with another speed build, and this time we are going to be rebuilding Heartia's home. So if you know who Heartia is, then you may have been watching the Let's Play Witches. She is a very interesting character because she is a fairy and the rest of the witches are actually witches. So it's not LP fairies, it's Let's Play Witches because she is the odd one out, and there will be a reason for that, and I will go into that when Heartia's backstory progresses in the Let's Play. But that won't be until I think maybe a few more episodes, and we'll find that out. But anyway, the reason why I'm rebuilding her whole entire home is because I had a major game disaster. And if you watched my last video, then you would have known. But what happened was I decided to create a brand new world for building dream houses because I have so many of them that I thought it would be really cool to just make a whole world and fill up the world with them. So I did, and I think that by doing that, for some reason it overwrote absolutely every single file that I love, and it left the ones that I don't actually go on anymore. So anyway, I lost the Let's Play Witches world and I lost my building world, which meant I lost Elsa's Frozen Castle, which meant I lost all my current restaurant builds I was working on. So yes, I'm rebuilding the whole thing, and this just happened to be one of the houses that I lost because I didn't save it to my library. And I think that that was because I was never actually keen on this house to begin with. It was a house that I created for the sole purpose that it would look ugly. So if you saw the one before this, I have to admit it's probably my least favourite house I've ever created. And I don't know why it was in the LP, but the storyline I'm going to go for with it is that it actually fell down. It was a complete tragedy for the whole town. It was so old and just terrible that one night it just crashed and burned, and they had to rebuild a new one. So the person that helped rebuild this house, or that made it doable, was actually Adam Farewell. He funds the school anyway. He funds pretty much everything in the town because he is loaded. So yeah, he would definitely fund this. That is a storyline anyway, so if you're wondering how I'm going to be merging that in, that is how. But anyway, I had a lot of fun building this, and I took a lot of inspiration from Amelia's house because that was actually one of my favourite witch homes, and I wanted this house to look a little bit more modern because it's supposed to be a new build, and it's actually my favourite one on the street. I was seriously contemplating whether to move Elizabeth and Marielle, but I was like, no, I absolutely can't because their house is their house. It's supposed to look older and more traditional. So this home is of course Heartia's home. It's going to have a little bit of a twist, and the twist actually is that Heartia's home is going to be very girly, and the interior I spent a lot of time doing. In fact, Heartia's bedroom was my ultimate fave. So if you don't want to watch the whole speed build, then at least go and see Heartia's bedroom because that is my favorite room in this whole build. And I thoroughly enjoyed creating it. And I've been really into creating bedrooms at the moment. I think there's a lot you can do there. Even without the amount of beds that we get, I try to think of how I can make it magical and fairy tale-like. So a lot of the kids' objects that we recently got with the new stuff pack, that really helped me out. So thank you, The Sims. But anyway, this is when I was putting in the landscaping. Now I did go a little bit overboard with the landscaping and I actually regretted it. So I took a lot of landscaping out because it was too much. Like, I want this build to look odd, just like they all do. Like, I want them to be unique and stand out because I feel as if Agatha and Eve's house, they do stand out, and also Amelia's. I think that what I was going for is something that would stand out and look individual but not look out of place. So if that makes sense, for instance, if I was going to put a suburban house here, and it would look very individual, but it would look entirely out of place. So I didn't want that for this home. So I really had to be careful with the amount of modern items I was using on the interior and exterior. But the idea is that this is now going to be the official secondary boarding house. So I actually am really excited to share it with you because I think we're going to have a lot of fun in the LP here. And the reason is because I've put in purposefully a lot of places that we can have for really romantic scenes and also scenes which could cause a lot of drama. So it's going to be a certain dining room in this house, and that is where a lot of drama is going to kick off with the Elder Witches, because it's going to be a place that they meet every single Thursday evening and they go there. Whether it's a pleasant experience is really up to me and also up to everyone else, because something that I'm trying to do with the Let's Play is actually involve everybody. So I think that from now, from part 4, you will start to see that there'll be episodes that will try to involve a lot of people and you will all have a say on what happens. So the choice between whether somebody lives or dies will be completely up to you, and I think that's a really interesting way of doing it, because I haven't actually seen Let's Players involve that before, and I think it's really interesting, and it also gives everybody their own opinions, which I of course love to hear. I think that the secondary witches will start to play more of a part in the Let's Play, and the reason why they haven't as of yet is because I really have been focusing on the other characters, but I feel as if everybody's starting to get used to the sort of way that I'm telling the story, and also with the characters I wanted to introduce the main characters first, which is of course the Elder Witches, and then you have Adam, Marielle and Damien, and to make sure that everybody knows what's going on roughly, then I can start bringing in other characters, and the secondary witches are going to play a big part in it. And let's not forget that one of the secondary witches can still be the Supreme Witch, and that could happen. In fact, the secondary witches could be so incredibly intelligent, or at least one of them, that maybe she knows already that she is destined to be the Supreme and she prefers it here. She prefers being kept out of the limelight, and also she knows that Marielle may be a threat to her. So that's going to be happening, and it's something that I'm definitely considering. I don't even know how I'm going to choose who the Supreme is when it does actually come to it. I think that it's going to take a lot of planning and preparation, and it will be the character that everybody least expects, probably. But then again, I think that even saying that, then the character that you would least expect then becomes the biggest suspect, and then it gets really complicated. But anyway, I was putting in the lights at this point because I can't stress how important it is at night for these houses to light up. And I'm saying that whilst Elizabeth's house is completely pitch black, and that is because when I put it onto Sims 4 Gallery, I forgot to put lights on it. I don't know why, but I did. So in the LP, I have actually had to go round again and put the lights on. So apologies for anyone that's downloaded Elizabeth's home. It doesn't come with lights, and that's really unusual for me. But yeah, it's really important because a lot of the scenes in the Let's Play are actually at night time. So I'm trying to make it so that I will purposefully sort of try and film it in the evening, and it usually starts at about 4:30, of course, throughout then, and it tends to play out over the space of a couple of days. But I have seen a lot of comments recently asking, have I got any advice for channels that are just starting out doing Let's Plays? And I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing if people watch my videos and want to start their own channels and their own videos. I think it's really cool. So the best advice that I would give to anyone that wants to start their own Let's Play is to try to do your own thing, try to do what you want to do, and I think that if you do that, you will enjoy it. Because when I first started doing Let's Plays, or when I had this idea in my head that I was going to do a Let's Play at first, I was thinking that I would do this standard format of just playing it throughout, maybe doing like a 30-minute episode, just having one standard family, and it completely changed from there because I did what I wanted to personally do, which is do it in a completely different style to what I've seen out there before. So that would be the best advice if you are starting to thinking doing your own channel, or if you're starting to do your own builds. Do what you want to do and not what other people do, because I think that's really important, and it will make it more fun for you as well, because I happen to really enjoy the way that I do the Let's Play and the Witches Let's Play. It's not going to be for everybody, but I think that as long as you're having fun and you can find like-minded people that will enjoy it as well, then that is the best thing ever. So anyway, going on to the build. Now, I had no idea that this carpet existed because I've only ever put down that cream version of this carpet. I had no idea. Nobody ever told me that there was orange carpet. So I was really impressed by that. I wish that I'd have used it for Elizabeth's house because that would have been perfect. But I'm actually thinking about moving in another pupil to Elizabeth's home. So that should stir things up. It's not going to happen immediately. There'll be a lot of new characters coming in. I've got a massive character coming up who hasn't been introduced yet. But she's pretty much the most powerful one in all of it. And the reason why she hasn't been properly introduced is because she is in the background a lot of the time, but she has a say in what the Elder Witches do, what the Supreme does, what Damien does, because he's just one on his own, let's face it. And I think that she's going to be a very, very interesting person because everybody's going to be trying to actively impress her, and she's only going to come out at certain occasions. So not to give too much away, but she's more supernatural than any of the characters that we've seen so far. She's in between the land of the living and the land of the dead. So yeah, that's all I'm giving away, but there'll be a creator sim coming up for her really, really soon. She's nothing really special to look at, I don't think. And that might be really, really harsh, me saying that. But I think it's true. I think it's true. And yeah, she's more of a personality, and whether she's a good or bad character, you can decide for yourself as it progresses. But I am really, really excited to share her with you because she'll be coming up so soon. But anyway, I thought having some lovely, lovely pictures of the girls all here in the house, just casually in the kitchen, just on that little timeline, I thought that was so cute. It was actually the first time I've ever used that because I did this interior before I did Elsa's Frozen Castle Part 2. So I was really excited to get them out there. So I think they pop up quite a lot in this build just because I was so overexcited to use them. I was like, I love them so, so much. In fact, my best friend has one of those in her room, and she has all these really old, embarrassing pictures of me on this timeline, and it's just awful. Like, she looks really good in them. I look terrible. So yeah, I was going through really, really bad phases when these pictures were taken, and it was awful. And I actually have a Bebo with each and every picture on, and I have no idea what happened to that Bebo. Like, I can't find it whatsoever. I think that a lot of Bebo profiles got taken down because then again, it was about 10 years ago now, which is insane. But yeah, so it's interesting because I have all these horrible, horrible pictures on there. I'm sort of curious to see what they actually look like to me now and what I would think about myself looking back at them. It's really interesting. But yeah, that was what a lot of my break times consisted of with my best friend. We would take fun photos and we would upload them to Bebo. And that is what we would do in our free time, being a life of a 13-year-old. But anyway, this is when I was putting in a cauldron. So the reason why I put in a cauldron is because there are witches in the house. Heartia would not be able to use this. She'd be able to watch it, but she would not be able to touch it. And the Elder Witches have a very interesting role for Heartia, and she's more of a worker. So she is in the Elder Witches, but she is really there to work. And she doesn't even know that herself. I don't even want to give too much away. I feel like I am. But no, that is it. And of course, if you can work out Heartia's backstory, I'll be so impressed because I've seen a lot of comments in the past that have pretty much predicted things in exactly the way that they're going to go down. And I love that so much. So a lot of people guessed how Adam Farewell's future is going to turn out, who was the ice sculpture, and how that's going to progress in the Let's Play. I was shocked because it could just be so many things, but no, I love it. I love having people's different opinions, and also if I haven't figured out a storyline 100% yet, it's actually really helpful for me to read other people's opinions because it means I can actually use them if I'm not even at the point where I know what's going on myself, because it's difficult. Like, sometimes I even forget what I'm doing with a certain character. But anyway, this was the lounge room. So the lounge is a very purpley pink room, and I wanted it to be very girly. The room which is going to look very boring and officey is this room. Now, I'm not particularly happy with it. It just wasn't what I expected. I really wanted a fancy gold room for this room, and I just thought with the Elder Witches, I want it to look perfect and just over the top, glamorous, spontaneous, just whatever you like, just really unique. So what I've actually decided to do with this room is, because I'm not happy with it and because I was just not feeling creative whatsoever whilst I was doing this, is I'm going to leave it open to absolutely anybody to go and decorate it if you want to. So it is going to be on the Sims 4 gallery, and it will be under the hashtag HatsyLPWitches, because that's a main hashtag that I use for the Let's Play, and it will also be on my gallery profile if you want to go and see it. But the idea is that I'll be picking a room which is the exact one of this. It can't have any added windows or doors because I need the windows there and the door there. But if you want to redecorate it, then of course I'll give you a big shout out in the LP, and I'll be able to find a room that really fits the build. But I was just finishing off in here. I was just really not feeling it whatsoever. I actually hate the grey. It just reminds me of like a really officey room. So for the upstairs, I really wanted some skill building items for the secondary witches. I thought this would be important because I feel like the secondary witches would be trying or maybe over trying to improve their skills so that they could compete with the other witches, because I'd imagine that skills are very much looked up to in the community. So whoever is the powerfulest and the highest, then they will get a lot of street credit, if you like. So that's why I've put loads and loads of items there. I think it's a really interesting house to use if you are just using it as your own Let's Play house. I think it could work really well. But in the bedrooms of the girls, I wanted the beds to match all the same. So it's not actually that far off the wizard's room, but they do have a lot more items in here, like items on the walls, just to make it look a little bit more friendly and cozy. So Elizabeth's house does not look like this. In fact, Elizabeth's house is the sort of home that you feel as if guests have sort of been and gone in the past. That's how I feel looking at the bedroom there for the pupils. So for this room, I feel like it's really personal, and I loved that. Now this room up here is Heartia's room. Now I spent a lot of time doing this room. I thought they looked really good with these pink and blue colours, and I really enjoyed doing it. Now Heartia's room, I wanted it to have a double bed because all the witches, or in fact no, she's fairy, but all the elder witches do have a double bed. And that's actually just apart from Elizabeth, because Elizabeth doesn't. And she just has like this really old tartan bed, which just looks disgusting. It's like a real grandparent bed, in my opinion. I don't know why they put that in the game. I have no idea. But no, she has a really over-the-top princess room because she's actually a very vain person. And she's not a bad person, but she's just quite vain in the way that she wants the best things. She wants a really pink, perfect princessy room, and she is a very princessy person. Like, that is her sort of persona. She is very over the top. She's quite vain. She makes sure that she always looks the best, and that is just Heartia. Now, I did actually expand her room. I didn't even feel bad for doing this because I usually do. I used to feel bad for extending builds when I used to do part 1s and part 2s of things, but now I'm doing it in one part and just like one complete run through of builds, or at least that's what I'm trying to do. I think it's a lot easier to do it that way, and I don't feel as bad because I'm doing it all on one video. So yeah, I did. I extended the house slightly. I think it looks a lot better that way. It also gave me a lot more room for Heartia's double bed because I wanted something really spring orientated here, and I thought that would look so cool. So yeah, definitely wanted to do something with the archway, and I actually tested it, so it does work. I also put some curtains above here, and by doing this room, it actually made me think about Elsa's Frozen Castle bedroom. So that's what gave me a lot of inspiration, just playing around with different objects. I love the archway of the flowers, and I just think it really suits Heartia because she's supposed to be a spring fairy, or at least that's the sort of image that I have for her. So I think that this room would be perfect for her, and of course she's got some things hanging on the walls. But no, I think it's really cool, and you could even extend that if you wanted to. You could have a bedroom in a bedroom, and you could do some really fancy things with it. But then I was just putting some plants around. I wanted to use some outdoor objects as well. I enlarged some bunnies and teddy bears to make it just look really pretty and fairy-like because it is supposed to be a fairy bedroom. Now, of course, it will be explained in a Let's Play eventually. It's not something that's going to happen straight away. It's something that's going to be dragged on for ages because it's not a major plot in the Let's Play at the moment. The major Let's Play plots are of course the evil that's happening in the town and the marriage of Marielle and Damien. Loads and loads of plots like that. Lots of things to do with the Elder Witches, but Heartia isn't one of the most important Elder Witches, unfortunately. Then what I was doing is I was onto the top room. I tried to make something out of this. So they all have this attic area. Now I think it's going to be really important that the attic area is used in some of the houses, but maybe just not in this one. But anyway, that is the end of the speed build. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.